Hello, Instagram family and friends. My name is Michelle Peel. I'm the Communications Director here at New Jersey LCV. Thank you for joining us today. We are the political voice for the environment here in New Jersey. Our mission is to elect environmental champions, and we advocate for safe drinking water, clear air, and open parks and recreation, and also environmental justice for everyone, no matter their zip code. Today we're here joined by our fearless leader and who I like to call my favorite executive director.
And only.
Ed Potosnik. And Ed, today you're going to be talking about something that's very important, our environmental agenda called the Common Agenda. Could you tell us about that?
Yeah, so our Common Agenda process is a comprehensive process that gets basically information about the top issues from a lot of different constituencies. First of all, importantly, our members. But we work very closely with a number of partner organizations in the environmental spaces, folks working on the ground in communities of color from across the state, labor partners, partners in the health and other sort of intersectional areas that overlap with the environment. And we do a lot of listening. What is it that they're fighting for? What are the biggest issues that they see on their own agendas in their local communities or from their perspective? We put all that together and we come up with like a draft survey, which we then send out to our members. Folks weigh in on what they think the most important issues are. We meet and we discuss those issues, again, internally and externally, and we come up at the end with 5 priorities for the legislative session. That's really what we're talking about here. 5 laws we want to pass over the course of 2 years in the state of New Jersey to make the environment a safer environment for our kids and grandkids.
Now, what are those top 5 this time around?
So one of the big ones, obviously, is around clean air. And so we have an agenda item to get 100% of our energy from clean energy by 2035. We also have a big agenda item on open space, making sure that in the most densely populated state, we have parks, forests, and farms available for future generations. And that's critical for us, so safeguarding those areas. We also think it's important to have clean drinking water. New Jersey has great standards, but also a lot of challenges in preserving and protecting safeguarding our drinking water. 97% of our waterways are impaired, so they don't meet federal standards. You probably don't want me to go into details about every single one of them, but clean drinking water is just so important, and it's the thing that matters the most. We're made mostly of water, and so what we put in our body matters. We've got a goal to get the lead out of our drinking water. That's a big issue for us. PFAS and PFOA, we call them forever chemicals, emerging contaminants, reducing them in our waterway, endocrine disruptors, things like that. And then we're a voting organization. So New Jersey LCV stands for League of Conservation Voters. And so access to polling, enhancing and strengthening our voting rights, also another critical agenda item for us. I want to make sure I don't forget any others. But that's pretty much the gamut of the areas, air, water, and land, where we're prioritizing passing legislation that can make us the greenest state in America, but also turn back the hands of time from the pollution that has existed as being one of the first industrialized states.
Okay. Now, one of the ones we want to focus on today, because this is going to be a series, is 100% clean energy by 2035. Today, there was a rally where we gathered to talk about that and to say we want clean energy now. Tell us about why that's so important and where we are in that process.
Well, we had a great turnout today, and pretty much every time we talk about this issue, folks are coming from the northern reaches of our state to the southern reaches, the shore, the inland communities, urban, suburban, rural, demanding 100% clean energy. And why that's important is because ultimately it saves lives. People are dying because of pollution in our air. The fossil fuel energy generation that we're dependent on today has with it co-pollutants that are toxic. They cause asthma, heart disease, and cancer. If you live in Newark, you're 4 times more likely to have asthma than if you live 10 miles outside of Newark because of the concentration of all of the pollution sources, including energy production. And so what we're trying to do is move to 100% clean energy where those pollutants are not produced in order for us to have reliable, affordable electricity. And it's a really big issue for our state, for our future. It also means if we move in that direction, we're creating good local jobs right here in New Jersey that can't be outsourced. These are high-paying union jobs. It also means, in addition to the health benefits and breathing cleaner air, we're addressing a huge threat. I mean, this past weekend and the past few weeks, we've seen major rainstorms. Climate change is ravaging New Jersey. So we're seeing the effects of it. A 100-year storm comes in the 30 years of your mortgage. It's actually may even be you get 300-year storms in the lifespan of your 30-year mortgage. That means it's coming at a cost to folks. They're bailing out their basements, they're bailing out their businesses, they're getting stuck on the way to and from work. Maybe they can't get to appointments for the doctor. We heard today at the rally from a doctor who's an oncologist where she said, people who need cancer treatments aren't able to get there when there are these storms. And that really messes up their ability to live. So as I mentioned, 100% clean energy bill will save lives. It will also save us from the worst effects of climate change and create those good local jobs. And we think it's really important for New Jersey to be a leader. We're a long way there. We're one of the most aggressive in the country, but we're being eclipsed by other states like Michigan and Illinois, and we can put ourselves back on the top. The governor has a 100% by 2035 commitment by executive order, and we need to pass a law to make it the law of the land. And it helps the businesses know where we're going.
So as we know, no change comes easy.
Never.
And so we've had some pushback, some misinformation. One of the things I like to say is it's great that we have all this media, but with the proliferation of media comes misinformation. Without parroting the opposition's talking points, can you talk about that just to educate people on what to look out for?
Yeah, I think what I would say first is people should look at the source. If you have a fossil fuel merchant telling you that something can't happen that's going to save your life because you're going to breathe cleaner air and not get cancer, heart disease, or asthma, you might wonder if the source is reputable because they make their money on peddling fossil fuels. And so I think ultimately that's the best advice I can give someone is look at the source. We see all kinds of false narratives that we have to make a choice between having a clean energy future and having affordable energy when heat pumps are actually cheaper to operate than fossil fuel gas-fired furnaces. That's the fact. That is the numbers, but the fossil fuel industry wants you to believe that natural gas is cheaper, more reliable, and that's just not the case. So those are things we see all the time. I drive an electric vehicle. Transportation is the largest emitter of greenhouse gases, and with it the co-pollution that causes these negative health impacts. We hear a lot of misinformation. I hear it all the time. I go out to dinner with folks, and I say I drive an electric vehicle, and they say, oh, how much does that battery cost? As if you replace the batteries every week like it's a flashlight. It's not. Electric vehicle batteries last 300 to 500,000 miles. I don't know who owned a car till that amount, and they would replace their engine. They'd replace their whole transmission. So these things are on par similarly with internal combustion engines, although the regular maintenance for them is just so much more affordable. I don't have oil changes. The only thing I have to do is put windshield wiper fluid in and rotate the tires. It's just very different. And so a lot of the car dealerships are upset because they're losing that monthly or every 3-month business that would come in for the oil changes. And so they're kind of, change you said is hard, they're kind of reluctant to adopt that because they feel like they're going to miss out on some of the repairs. That can be a challenge, but there is a solution to that, which is changing their business model to adjust to the future of electric vehicles, which are cleaner and reliable, and quite frankly, you're not replacing your batteries probably the time you're owning it. And that is the truth, and it's no different than the engine cost.
So as we wrap up, what about those that are watching and want to be involved? They say that we're going to have an active voice in bringing about this new clean energy future. What would you say to them?
I say get involved. I think we're in a fork in the road. I would say more than ever before, the fossil fuel industry has really turned up the rhetoric. They've turned up their campaign spending. The fossil fuel industry has been the largest spender of any industry in New Jersey lobbying And part of that's because we're kind of pushing the envelope to move faster towards a healthier future. And that means their profits that they're using, the money, the deep pockets that they have a pretty loud voice. They can buy fancy advertisements and slick flyers. They can throw out things in the digital space that just confuse people. For example, I mentioned electric vehicles. They'll show a picture of an electric vehicle fire, which can happen. It's unfortunate it does. But there'll be 1,000 regular vehicle internal combustion engine fires. They don't show any of those. But they have money to do that. So your voice is powerful. Your vote is powerful. Your elected officials care what you think. And they don't hear enough from you about what you want to see for the future. But let me tell you, the fossil fuel industry, they've got lobbyists. They're on retainer, and they're walking the halls of Trenton. They're walking to the State House. They're meeting them in their districts, in their official offices. And if you're not showing up, then you're being spoken over. And we like to say, if you're not at the table, you're on the menu. So I would say get involved. In your local community, know who your assembly person is, know who your senator is. If you're not sure who that person is, you can go to njleg, like legislature, leg.org, and you can look up who your representative is and place a phone call and say, we want to see 100% clean energy. We're not looking to put profits for the fossil fuel industry over people's lives and the health of our future generations and our economy, quite frankly. We need everybody. It's an all-hands-on-deck moment. We tried last session to pass the 100% legislation. We weren't able to get it across the finish line. So we're starting in a place now where we need more voices. We need more people pushing to do something that's incredibly important for the future of our state, for the health of the people who live here, for businesses that want to be able to operate not underwater without the storms that are ravaging us. And we need people to come out and make their voice be heard. And that's what was so great about today in the rally. And each time that we've had a chance to get together, you hear voices from, like I said, different constituencies that make a huge difference. And the legislators are listening. And so I would say, step up. We couldn't use your help any less than now, meaning we really need your help. And we hope that your voice can add into the chorus of folks calling for this clean energy revolution, so we can get the good local jobs back here at home that can't be outsourced. These are high-paying union jobs. We can get the benefits of cleaner air. We can tackle climate change. We can improve our public health. It's a win-win situation for all of us.
Okay. Well, thank you, Ed, for joining me today on this Instagram Live, and thank you for watching. Our next segment in our series will be parks and open spaces. Thank you. See you next time.
Thanks so much.